Everybody, McGraw 31 back here for FSI DFS. We've got a nice 9-game slate here for Monday, 5/9. Hope you and your mothers had a nice Mother's Day. So let's get into some baseball here. First game, we have the Dodgers going to Pittsburgh. We have Urias against Quintana. Not interested in Quintana. Urias, he's okay. Probably one of the best medium range pitchers today at 8-2. Probably definitely will get the win there. It's a good pitching ballpark. Dodgers probably the favorite stack on here. Pittsburgh, not really interested in them as cheap or really anything today. Milwaukee Brewers, Cincinnati Reds in the Great American Small Park. You have Brandon Woodruff and Luis Castillo. Woodruff just seems really cheap here, and he dominated the Reds before. And even though he's seen him, I don't really care. I think he's the top pitcher on the slate at 9-3. Sign me up. Castillo's coming back. Pitch count did about around 80 pitches in his 3 AAA starts. Milwaukee does have some strikeouts, so if you want to put him in a large field GPP, I'm okay with that, but I want to see what he does and if he's stretched out before I really play him. But I do like some of the left-handed Milwaukee bats here against him. The Reds just not really interested. Maybe a leverage stack if you think something weird goes down with Woodruff, but they've just been the worst offense in baseball, so I'm just going to kind of avoid them. In Oakland, it's in Detroit. You have Oakland and Detroit. Really low total here at 7. Pretty good pitching matchup with Blackburn and Pineda. Pineda, I think, would be probably a fade, but Blackburn, I think, is a really good pitching matchup against Detroit. I have Pineda on my fade list, but I don't know. I'm really debating it here at 6-2. I think maybe in GPPs he is playable because Oakland's offense hasn't been great. You've got 2 of the bottom lineups here in baseball, but I do think that Oakland might be a pretty sneaky cheap stack to play against Pineda. So I think that's the way I'm going to lean, is play the Oakland bats and fade Pineda as a pitcher, because I really don't think I need him in the context of the slate. There's some other really cheap guys like Gomber in the same price range as Pineda that I'd rather take in their matchup. So like I said, Blackburn is started the season, been really decent. Troy has some strikeouts, so I think it's a really good matchup. And at 7-5, that's a really nice price for him. The Cleveland Guardians and the Chicago White Sox, the wind is blowing in here at 21 miles per hour. So I think that helps Plesac a little bit. White Sox are still banged up. I think they got Mikata back, but I think Sheets, maybe not Sheets. I think he's still in the lineup. Jimenez, I think somebody else got injured, so they're still not 100% yet. So I think he's decent for a cheaper pitcher on the slate, and just with the high price pitchers, like when I say cheap, we're talking like below 8K, not like 5 or 6 or 4K today, because there are probably at least 10 pitchers that are priced above that. So Plesac, I think, is okay. Kopech, he's been really good this season. He's at 9.5, but I think he'd be my 3rd favorite pitcher just because Cleveland's been really good to start the season against right-handed pitching, especially with like the addition of Kwan there, and Naylor's decent, Jose Ramirez. So I think I'm going to kind of leave him on the shelf for this one. But if you want to play him, I don't really, especially with the wind blowing in, I think that helps them too. So I think he's definitely viable. Tampa Bay and the Angels, you have a bullpen game for Tampa going up against Noah Syndergaard. Syndergaard's getting up there with his pitch count. He's okay. There are some strikeouts in this Tampa lineup, but I think I'd rather play Blackburn, Gomber, Plesac over him if I'm paying under 8K for a pitcher. Not touching the Tampa bullpen game. Tampa, I think, makes a decent cheap stack against him. Like Syndergaard still does walk some people, and he can sometimes give up some runs. So, and especially like the pricing is not too bad. Like Choi should be back in the lineup. Brandon Lau leading off at 4.4 is a decent price there. Kiermaier mixing some of the righties, so I'm okay with them for like probably a cheaper GPP stack. Angels, I think, would be my 3rd favorite stack of the day against this bullpen team. Just even though Ohtani struggled to kind of start the season, I don't know if I paid 6-1 for him, but the rest of this lineup has been decent this year, so I think they're definitely someone to consider. The Cubs and the Padres, you have Kyle Hendricks and Mackenzie Gore. Kyle Hendricks is a pitcher, and that's just it. Doesn't really get any strikeouts, doesn't really generate too many DFS points, so better pitcher in real life than he is in fantasy. Gore, outstanding rookie, 9.7, way too expensive to pay for him. If you want to, I get it, but actually the Cubs have not been horrible against left-handed pitching. Against right-handed pitching, yes, but against left-handed pitching with some of the power in the lineup, especially with like Suzuki there and Wisdom and Schwindel, I think I'd rather stack the Cubs in a GPP than play Gore in a cash game today. San Diego, I think they make a decent stack against Hendricks. Again, like he doesn't really get blown up, doesn't really have a lot of strikeouts. There's still, really will be better when Tatis is in that lineup, but I can see if you want to stack them at GPP, I'm fine with that. Miami Marlins, Arizona Diamondbacks, really don't like a ton this game, although the total is pretty nice. Neither pitcher really does much for me. Pretty much probably going to fade Hernandez and Castellanos here. Marlins, I like Jazz in this matchup and maybe like Wendell, but really not super excited about a bunch of them. And some of the left-handed hitters here for Arizona, I think they would make a nice GPP stack, and they're also relatively cheap too. Philadelphia Phillies and the Seattle Mariners. You have Ranger Suarez and Chris Flexen. Suarez at 9.1, I think is a little expensive also. I'd rather play Urias at 8.2 or some of the cheaper ones. I don't think I'd really end up in that price range, but I think he's got definitely could get the win there. And Seattle is actually has some injuries, and they might not be able to roll out their full normal lineup there. And they started out good, but they're starting to decline. And I think, a young pitcher like Suarez could actually have a decent game, but I just think the pricing, I'd rather hit him in the 8K range. Flexen on the other side is a no. He's a reverse to neutral splits pitcher here, so the righties are fine as well as the lefties against him. Philadelphia would be second favorite stack, a great pivot off the Dodgers. Seattle, not interested at all. Maybe some one-offs there, but I don't think in any context I'd really be able to fit them into my price wise. I'd rather go with cheaper bats like Arizona. Colorado and San Francisco, very low total here. Winds blowing out 17 miles per hour. It doesn't matter usually as much in San Francisco, just the way the ballpark is. Austin Gomber, Carlos Rodon, like both pitchers here. Prefer Woodruff, but Rendon I think is a decent pivot off. But Colorado could be kind of sneaky here with some leverage play of some other right-handed power bats that they have against them. But Rendon started off the season has done really well. I mean, he had a rough start a little bit against the Dodgers. They really made him work last time out, but Colorado's not the Dodgers. In Gomber, I think with this, most of the power is left-handed on San Francisco. Yes, they do match up well and have some decent righties here, but with Peterson and Yastrzemski, I think that Gomber, who's a great young pitcher, I think he's a good option at 6.6 here. So let's look at some lineup bids and get you on your way. So like I said, I really love Woodruff, and I think, Gomber makes a good SP2. If you can get up to Blackburn there too, I think that works. I'm going to take the Dodgers here. Freeman, Muncy, Turner, Betts. I think I am going to, I'm probably just going to have to take some one-offs here. Like I said, I like the Eric Jones, Arizona guys. Brandon Phillips, if he's in line at 2.9 with the splits advantage for Brett Phillips, not Brandon Phillips, sorry, for Tampa Bay is a good play too that I like. I'd probably get a punt catcher here too. Just going back to Arizona again. If Jose Herrera is in the game, he's 2.2, he's a switch hitter. So I think definitely want to make Dodgers a priority. Chris Taylor's also a righty here against the lefty. So if you can get him into the outfield, that's great. So at least 4 Dodgers, maybe 5 if I can fit them in. And then I'm just going to take one-offs and good positions there as punts to fill out the lineup. So for GPP, I think I'm going to pay down both pitchers. I think Blackburn and Gomber make a decent pairing. If I can get up to Urias, that's fine. It all depends on the catcher situation. Dichiro Muto I like, but if Stubbs is in, that's fine. But my secondary stack off of Philly is going to be Milwaukee. So Navarra is definitely a cheaper catcher to throw in there. It gives you some money to spend. Same thing with Hassan and Tellis. So maybe I lean a little bit more Milwaukee or try to make it like a 4-4 split here. See what I can do with the stacking, but Wong at second base, like Bong at third. I like might probably will punt shortstop, but you could with Kamara Gio there for Philadelphia, you might decent wraparound stack. Harper Schwarber, I think, would be the priorities. You can play Cassie, does give you a little bit of savings there too if one of those sits, and then Yelich, or if you just wanted to take a one-off bat in outfield, somebody cheap just to make the stack work. I think that's where I'm going to go. So a nice slate tonight, like nice, not to have to worry about weather. Like I said, Woodruff, Rendon, probably your top pitchers. You can play the other guys if you want to. I think, top two there, Blackburn, Gomber. I think if you stay within those four, maybe mix in some Urias, and then in GPPs like Kopech, Gore, Plesac, Syndergaard, I think are all viable. Dodgers and Phillies and Milwaukee and Arizona is where I'm focusing. But if you want to throw some Angels, White Sox in there, some cheaper bats like Oakland, Colorado, I think again is probably one of my favorite GPP leverage stacks. So Mega Ruler 31, check me out on Twitter at Mega Ruler 31. Leave some comments below if you have any questions. Like this video and share with your friends. It just helps us get the word out to people to help them even more. And if you want more information on FSI DFS, check out the description of this video and all the information is there. So good luck tonight, and we'll see you next time.